Hi everyone. I running a bit late today. Got held up, but I'm here, and I can't see any comments. My internet is always a little bit slow, so I've got to concentrate on one section at a time, which is the video. But yeah, I wanted to actually discuss about some old beliefs into new beliefs, but it was about looking at the things to do with abandonment issues that people might come across, or I don't even know that this is connected to that. And I have like 20 of them, and it's about taking, what can be old belief systems that we don't even know that we have or that we carry, but it's something that we kind of default to, and flipping it, being able to flip that and go, okay, well, what is the flip of that? And I'll be looking into the flip of that next week. But I'm just going to go through some of the things that, research has shown with the abandonment, and also how, we're not going to do the how on how we can flip that, but it's about recognizing that there is a flip side to that. But today I just wanted to pop in and have a quick conversation to you in regards to what those 20 old belief and belief patterns that, people who've got to their midlife and are in that stage from 30, 35, any up to 60, 65, and there's people past that. I'm working with people who are, in their late 60s, and some of them are writing a book, another one, and finding, their coaching career. I've got another person who's doing meditation, and hopefully we're taking off their meditation career as well. So the top 20, there's probably heaps more of them, but I'm just going to go through the ones that I resonate with, and a lot of the things that I work with women as well. So of course, when it comes to these belief patterns, and people who have survived as adult survivors from abandonment in early life, there could have been some abandonment that's happened. It could have happened in teenagers or even in your early 20s, but this resonating with people in their early life years, you might find yourself struggling with, or these things may have come in that you don't even know that are happening for you. So the top 20, the first one is fear of abandonment. We're talking about abandonment, and then we have fear of abandonment, and we don't necessarily know that sits and resides within us. So there might still be, deep seated feelings about the fear, okay? The fear of being abandoned again, because it's already happened to you before. So this is what you have learnt. Even though, you're accomplished and you're independent and you've got it all going on and you're in control of things, there might be that fear that, it's going to happen again. So that's the first one. The second one is self-reliance. So, there could be something in there that you've a belief system that you can only rely on the self, and you can only, I've got, it's only me, no one else can help me. So rely on yourself solely, and this can also lead to difficulty with trusting others, or asking for that help, because, I'm the only one that can do it. And so I am the only one that's going to go, and I'm going to go and do that, which is, stopping people from helping you, and stopping that love from coming through. And you don't think anyone else can do the job. You don't give anyone the opportunity to do that, to help. So that's that self-reliance. Perfectionism. This is a big one. I have so many people that I know that go, I'm a perfectionist. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Definitely was a perfectionist, and I'm still working on that. So I'm recovering. So I'm still working with perfectionism, and embracing imperfection. And definitely have been doing that over the last couple of years, because I'm fastidious about cleaning. And I was fastidious about cleaning way before I even joined the army. And then the army amplified my cleanliness, because, there can't be a speck of dust anywhere. And I spend so much time cleaning my house. And even when my kids were growing up, nothing could be either out of place or not clean, or, I had clean kids all the time. So that perfectionism, it came off in my cleaning, but I also saw that that type of thing has, I've passed that down to my daughter. And I listened to something yesterday, and it talked about what we do pass down to our children. Going off on a tangent, is that we either pass down wounds or we pass down wisdom. And I think one of the wounds I passed down was that perfectionism and that cleaning. And it's a default that I used to go to hide behind. So perfectionism, a lot of people go, I'm a perfectionist, and they're very proud of that. But there's another side to that. So, you might need to feel the need to excel at everything, which is, it's not necessarily bad, but it's a way of proving your worth so that you can avoid being abandoned again, because it's that reliance on the self. It's starting to build up walls, which we don't even know is happening in that perfectionism. So not that it's a wrong or a right, it's that just evaluating and valuing what is my perfectionism. Is it healthy for me? Am I putting up barriers? Am I making it about my self-worth? So that was number 3. So number 4 is difficulty in trusting. So you could be reluctant to opening up to others, or forming close relationships. You might be able to form relationships, but you mightn't let them get too close due to past experiences, and of course due to experiences of abandonment, is not allowing you to get that real connection that you're looking for, and you may not confide in others. And it can also, there's a little bit of introversion that can go on in there. It's just, and being reluctant to be open, to share yourself, to share your journey, and to share your story. And this can actually become a blockage for you. So sometimes people who are writers or who are artists, or, they've got that creative side to themselves, the difficulty in trusting and not being able to even share a sacred gift that they've got, or a sacred piece of beauty or a sacred piece of art, because of that abandonment. It means that you're opening up, and you don't want people to see, and you don't want people to get close to you in regards to that. And that just reminded me of another thing I've been listening to recently too, which was the, art scars. It's something Brene Brown talks about. And I'm love art, and I'm an artist myself, been an artist for a very long time, child, entering art competitions as a 4 and 5-year-old with my mum, because she was an artist. And the art scars where, people stop being creative because of art scars. And that's something I'd love to discuss at another time, and love to know if anyone else has got any art scars. I don't particularly have any art scars, because I valued my art so much, and it was valued. But we don't always value it, even in our own children. And the sun is coming through wonderfully here. And art is, part of our creative. And if we've been shamed about that creative side is gone. But it's still there. It's hiding. Lots of people tell me, oh, I'm not creative. Oh, I can't draw anything. And it's not just about drawing. It's cooking. It's making things. It can be crafty. But I believe, because I teach art therapy as well, that, it's in everyone, and it's an expressive part of the self. So number 5 is self-doubt. So, despite your accomplishments and where you are in life and what you've achieved, there can still be that self-doubt in the ability. So in your abilities that you have, that you shine in. You can still self-doubt. You've done such a fantastic job, yes, but you're still doubting yourself that you haven't done a good enough job, or you haven't got to a good enough place in life. And that comes back to your worthiness as well. So you doubt your ability and the worthiness, so that you're good enough. So that self-doubt coming in can also be part of these abandonment beliefs, or the beliefs that we've got because of abandonment. Seeking validation, which surprised me, when I went into the research of this. So constantly seeking that validation, constantly seeking external validation, because we don't always ask the self, because we're not necessarily trusting the self. We've got that self-doubt going on. And that external validation, it fills a void that has been left behind by the abandonment, because that abandonment there and those old belief systems are connected to it that we don't even realistically know about. But that external validation, I cook, I love cooking. And when I'm cooking and I do a meal for everyone, if no one is saying anything about that meal, it's like, have I done a good enough job? Self-doubt. And then, is it okay? Does it taste any good? I'm looking for that external validation to fill a void. And that's just a meal. And of course, when you're in work, it's, seeking that external validation. Have you done a good enough job? You've put in all this time, you've put in all this work, you've put a bit of heart and soul into it, if not all of your heart and soul into it, because that's probably what you do. And crickets. And it's like, that sinking feeling. You've done a good enough job. You've put your heart and soul in it, and that's enough. But we don't realize that we're seeking that validation so that it makes us feel better. Yeah, it does. But why are you seeking it? So number 7, emotional guardedness. What a word, huh? Guardedness. Emotional guardedness. So, there could be this tendency to keep emotions bottled up. It could be something that that you do. It could be something that you even say that you do. I just bottle up all my feelings. Okay? And you appear to be this wonderful, strong, unaffected by vulnerability person. I don't do vulnerability. We're doing vulnerability all the time. When you ask your partner for sex, that's vulnerability. When you ask a friend to do you a favor, that's vulnerability. Because normally you wouldn't ask anyone because you believe you're the only person that can do it. And because of that, no one else can do the job like you want them to do it, because you're the only one that can do it that way. However, you've got to put that trust in people, and that's that distrusting. So that emotional guardedness is we either bottle them up or we grab them and we push them down and we sweep them under the carpet. Guess what? They come up. And guess what? They explode out of the bottle. Just when you least expect it, life is going swimmingly. Bang! Bottle's off. Oh, we're lifting the carpet and we have to sweep it out. And that's where I come in. I love helping people with, taking the lid off. Let's have a look at those bottled up emotions. Let's look what's underneath the carpet. Let's look what the skeletons are in the closet. Because getting to those, and they don't just disappear. You don't just deal with what's happening at the moment and great, I've dealt with my skeletons in the closet. I've dealt with my emotions that I've been pushing down. Those things will come up that you need to deal with now, but that doesn't mean that there's more in the closet, and that doesn't mean there's more in the carpet, and that doesn't mean that you've bottled stuff down so deep that one day they're going to come up. And you need support with that. You can't do it on your own. I've done it on my own, and it's hard. I've done years of work of doing stuff on my own, but I've also been seeking support and help and guidance, and I know a lot of stuff, and I've teach a lot of stuff. So many different fields that I can be into, but the one thing I really love doing is helping women. I help men too. They're such a different species, and the approach is very different to women. So that emotional guardedness, that's armor. that we stick on. And it's a different type of armor. You go to work, you put on, work for armor. In the army, I literally put on armor. But and then we come home and we got to face home and what's going on at home, especially if you've got children or if you've got partners or blended families. You got to stick on a different pair of armor, sometimes stronger armor. And that's that emotional guardedness. And it's about, what kind of armor are you putting on and why? What armor are you putting on around your emotional guardedness? So number 8 is, we're only going to get through 10 of these today. Is difficulty in vulnerability. I don't do vulnerability. I don't want to go down the vulnerability path because it hurts too much. I've had enough struggle in my life. I'm not going there. So opening up and being vulnerable could have been a negative connotation to a lot of people. But vulnerability is positive. It's where so many things sit. There is both negative and positive in there. And it's extremely challenging due to that past hurt, because it can be vulnerability and abandonment. When there's been that abandonment in life, you've suffered. There's been a trauma there. And you put yourself out there and felt stuff, which is vulnerable, and you don't feel that anymore. And vulnerability is about feeling, but vulnerability is also about being open to opportunity of what's next in your life. So number 9, avoidance of intimacy. Have you done that before? I've got a headache. I don't want to go there. I'm just not into it, because there's a fear of getting too close to others emotionally. And you can use this as a defense mechanism. I'm in this wonderful relationship, everything's going right, but I'm going to hold off on getting really close to someone because they're going to leave me anyway, or something's going to happen. I'm preparing for the worst. So where we can be using the avoidance of intimacy as a mechanism against potential future abandonment, because this person might leave my life. Well, lots of people leave your life. Your partner might leave your life, might not. These friends that are around you you've currently got might leave your life. But they're only a phone call away. They're a Zoom call away. They're a live call away. They're a FaceTime call away. They're a flight away. They're not abandoning you. They're just choosing to be somewhere else. And you can still connect. It's about how you try to do these connections. So that avoidance of intimacy, of actually really letting down all those barriers, letting down all of that emotional guardedness, getting vulnerable, and allowing someone to see you. And the 10th one I'm going to go past is people pleasing. Are you a people pleaser? Part of old belief patterns associated with abandonment. Who knew? So you've got a tendency to prioritise everybody else, other people's needs over your own, to avoid conflict or to avoid people leaving your lives in abandonment. You will please them to that point where they don't leave your life, but sometimes they do anyway. You will please them and do everything for them so that even you will either miss out, or you will suffer, or you will not feel completed in that love circle. So that's all I'm going to talk about today, is those old belief patterns. We've done 10, and there's 10 more. And then we will flip that as we go on with these talks. Hope you have a great day.